Hey guys, okay. So several nights ago, I went to bed at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I woke up at midnight. And I was laying in my bed over there with my netbook and I had my bedroom door open and I'm laying there and I'm checking Facebook and all of a sudden I see a rat walking down my hallway. Like not a mouse, but an actual rat, like a sewer rat. And I froze and I was just staring at it and it kind of waddled away. Like it didn't come in my room, it walked into the living room and I got up and I went and I woke Keith up and I said, "Get up, there's a rat." He has a major phobia of rats, so he kind of just like set up like a zombie. And I walked back down the hall into my bedroom, and that's when he saw it. Apparently, it had come back out of the living room, and he watched it waddle into the bathroom, and like he freaked. So I said, "We gotta go, we gotta leave." And like my first instinct was get out of the apartment. Like I didn't even want to be here, but I wanted to go to the store to get some traps, like immediately. Because in 2003, I used to live in an apartment that was infested with mice, and while that was uncomfortable and I don't like mice, and I promised myself I would never live in those conditions again, this was a rat. Like this was big, like big rat with that fleshy tail and those fleshy feet. So we went at probably by this point 12:30 in the morning to the supermarket, and we went in there, and they didn't have the traps that I wanted. And before people jump on me, they don't have live traps at 24-hour stores where I live, and I have already stated this on Facebook. My compassion is not that big yet. It was if it's a mouse, yeah, maybe, but this, it's a rat, and no, I'm not dealing with that. So the first store had only the very tiny little mouse traps when you pull back and they snap shut and everything. First of all, I don't use those because I will snap my finger. I know I will setting it, so I don't like those. And then they had the poison pellets that come in the bowl. I don't know what it's called. And like when the rat eats from that and then it poisons itself, it walks away and dies somewhere. The downside of those is it goes back in the wall somewhere and it dies and then it smells. And I don't want some dead rat just lingering in the wall or behind the television set and then I have to find it after I can smell it. So what I used to do when I had the mice was get the sticky traps, and this time because it's bigger, I didn't get the square ones. I got the long, long rectangle ones, and then we got about four of those, and I put some peanut butter in the center of each one to entice it to go into the sticky trap. And I know some people think cheese, but cheese dries up after a couple days and it starts to smell, whereas peanut butter does not. It can last, quite a while, and they like that as well. So I put one in the hallway, one in the bathroom underneath the bathroom sink, one in the kitchen by the oven, and one in the living room by the air conditioning unit by the window. And Keith was like, "We have to get a cat. Like, we have to get a cat tomorrow. We're going to get a cat." And I was like, "Oh, but I'm supposed to get a cat possibly in March because if you guys follow my videos, like I'm supposed to get the bald cat, the Sphinx." And he was like, "I don't care. We'll have two cats." And I was like, "All right, fine." So what we did the following day is, I think it was the following day, we went, the day after, we went up to Petco because they have cats up there on the weekends, not for sale at the pet store. It's actually an organization that goes there called Perfect Companions. And they are kind of like, they're not Whiskers, but they're kind of like Whiskers. I think that they kind of trade cats around. And by bringing it to a pet store, they get it where people can, high visibility for people that are already looking for pets. They have, a website online and everything. And, I was looking around different cats. There was a couple that I was interested in. I didn't know if they were going to be bringing them that day to the pet store. So we go up there, which I had hardly slept. I mean, at this point, I slept 4 hours. All the lights were on the apartment, by the way, and I've been sleeping with my light on since that happened, which was about maybe 4 or 5 days ago now. And Keith has as well been sleeping with the light on. I don't want to sleep in the dark yet. I'm just not comfortable. I have not seen the rat again. I have not caught the rat in the trap or anything, so I'm hoping it went out the same hole that it came in, which is good because I don't want to see it ever again. But anyway, so we get to the pet store and the Perfect Companion people are there, and like it was just I would never deal with them again. It's like they set up this card table and they have like a couple cages of cats in them, and all the cats look really tragic. Well, no, they don't. Like almost all of them look fine. Like they're They were all black cats, which I've had black cats growing up. I was more interested in trying to find an orange cat. I want something with color in it. I didn't want to get a black one this time, and I want to get a male cat. They're already all their cats are already neutered. They already have their shots. They already been tested for FIV and for feline leukemia. And so they charge $100 for the cat because it includes all that stuff. The Humane Society in Albany charges $120, so it was $20 cheaper. And with the Humane Society, they just give you vouchers because the cat may not be neutered, and then you still have to go and take it to be neutered and everything, go through the hassle of going to the vet. So I was kind of happy that this place at least already had it taken care of. But they end up, it's like you're trying to adopt a real child. They have like a 3-page application. I saw that online, so I was aware I was going to have to fill something like that out. But when we got up there, they set up this card table. There's this woman sitting there. She's not looking up at all, and she has her purse on the floor right next to her. The other woman is standing there, and this woman came with her child and said that she was looking for a cat named, I think it was Ruby or Royal or something. That she had been speaking to this woman online, Marianne, all week, and it was supposed to be there. And the woman then tells her, oh, well, we're not sure if that cat's ready to be adopted yet, and we didn't bring it and everything. Well, first of all, why didn't you tell this poor woman that drove all the way to Northway Mall that you weren't bringing the cat? Why all week long are you people emailing her saying, oh yeah, no problem, come get it, just bring your application? She's standing there with her like 8 or 9-year-old child, who then sticks his hand in one of the cat cages, and like the cat like bites his hand, and then I don't know. But anyway, and so the woman says to her, oh, there's not very many cats here, and the woman's like, oh, because of finals, and there's not a lot of people that brought their cats in. It's like, it just seemed very disorganized, especially if they're charging you money. And this woman, I mean, she already dealt with them for a week, emailing back and forth, had like, her massive application filled out for this cat. And so I have a low tolerance for people's stupidity. And so I'm standing there just looking pleasant because I think it's just me who's aggravated. But then I just kind of looked at Keith and I'm like, do you want to go? And he's just like, yeah, I want to go. I don't want to cat from these people. And I was like, okay. So we started to leave, and I said, you know what, can I look at the fish? Because I'm already out at the pet store. So I ended up getting like a blue betta fish, aka like a fighter fish. It has to live by itself and doesn't need a large aquarium or a filter. I already have the goldfish, which you guys have probably seen if you go through my videos, but it's tiny and it's blue. I would show it. I'll take footage of it some other time. It's right up here on top of my desk, but it's about this big, tiny and everything. So that's cool. So I got a fish out of it. And I didn't have to pay for it either. So I'm like, Keith, will you buy me a fish? He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, because I don't have any money right now to buy anything. So I don't know. I talked to my friend Rich in Chicago, and he was telling me that the societies, like anything that has a society at the end, usually is charging money and stuff like that. So he gave me some ideas of where to look and go, like like the quote unquote pound. You can get a cheaper cat. So I'm in no massive hurry to get a cat in here. I know Keith is, because and all of us probably wouldn't want a rat, running around our apartment. And while it does freak me out enough to sleep with my light on, because I don't want to jump underneath my covers, I want to see it if I wake up and it's on my floor. He's really, it's just his thing. How everyone has their thing, that's his. He hates rats. And so that's it with that. Been looking on Craigslist, of course, because there's people that have to move all the time, or like people die and like there's no place for the pet to go. So definitely we'll keep looking into it. I would really like an orange male cat, or a orange cat with white on it, or orange, black and white, stuff like that. Or even a white cat. I've never had a white one before. Everything. But yeah, I'm just tired of just plain black cats. Like I said, I've had them most of my life. I had my cat Tiger growing up, and Dallas, which my parents got, after, as like a companion for him. And then like Dallas is still, my father still has Dallas. He's still alive, but barely. Like he has diabetes, and like he's really overweight for some reason. I think my parents always fed him too much, and maybe he's lost some weight now that my mom passed away, because I don't think my father would indulge him as much as my mother did. My mother used to give him like a teaspoon of ice cream, and I would say, Mom, he has diabetes. She's like, oh, it's just a teaspoon. And like he'd be eating like French vanilla ice cream. That's just not good. This cat already looks like a butterball, But anyway, so yeah, so that's it. And I forgot to mention in my other video when I was talking about my website that I have up, The Brian on Earth. I did not come up with that name myself. I didn't know what to name it. I looked up BrianBaxter.com. That was already taken. I know some people refer to me as Benzo Brian because I, went to the benzo withdrawal and I help people that are going through benzo withdrawal and point them to forums that will help them with other people that are going through it. But that kind of stuck me in a box of, just again, benzos, and I didn't want it to be like anxiety Brian or anything like that because again it sticks me in a box. And so I was complaining to Jason online, and he's just like, well, what about Brian on Earth? He has a similar type name online, and so I was like, actually that works, and I checked and it was there. So I just wanted to give him credit because I was saying to him, don't worry, I'm not going to say, oh, I thought of it all by myself. No, actually he thought of it, and it was a really, really good idea, I thought. So I like it. And the page right now is just plain. It's not, I'm going to add more to it. I just want to get it up and running. And of course, I'm having it hosted through magichosting.net, which is an online friend of mine who lives in Oregon. And so I had him host my web pages before. And so I just went back to him this time. Dotster was a little bit cheaper, but they wanted the whole year's worth of money up front for the hosting, and I didn't feel like paying $45 right away. So I like paying the month to month, and so that's how it's, running right now. I want to get into some other things. I want to look into how to web host other people's sites for myself. I want to know how to do that. Don't know if I ever will. I just want to know how, so I've gotten some books on that. Other than that, I think I'm all caught up with my videos, so I will talk to you all soon. Bye. Hey guys, okay, so several nights ago, I went to bed at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I woke up at midnight, and I was laying in my bed over there with my netbook, and I had my bedroom door open, and I'm laying there, and I'm checking Facebook, and all of a sudden, I see a rat walking down my hallway. Like, not a mouse, but an actual rat, like a sewer rat. And I froze, and I was just staring at, and no, I'm not dealing with that. So the first store had only the very tiny little mouse traps when you pull back and they snap shut and everything. And first of all, I don't use those because I will snap my finger. I know I will setting it, so I don't like those. And then they had the poison pellets that come in the bowl. I don't know what it's called. And like when the rat eats from that and then it poisons itself, it walks away and dies somewhere. The downside of those is it goes back in the wall somewhere and it dies. And like he freaked. So I said, we gotta go, we gotta leave. And like my first instinct was get out of the apartment. Like I didn't even want to be here, but I wanted to go to the store to get some traps, like immediately. Because in 2003, I used to live in an apartment that was infested with mice. And while that was uncomfortable and I don't like mice, and I promised myself I would never live in those conditions again, this was a rat. Like this was big, like big rat with that fleshy tail and those fleshy feet. So we went at probably by this point 12:30 in the morning to the supermarket, and we went in there and they didn't have the traps that I wanted. And before people jump on me, they don't have live traps at 24-hour stores where I live, and I have already stated this on Facebook. My compassion is not that big yet. It was, if it's a mouse, yeah, maybe, but this, it's a ring at it, and it kind of waddled away. Like it didn't come in my room, it walked into the living room, and I got up and I went and I woke Keith up and I said, get up, there's a rat. He has a major phobia of rats, so he kind of just like set up like a zombie, and I walked back down the hall into my bedroom, and that's when he saw it. Apparently it had come back out of the living room, and he watched it waddle into the bathroom.